Emergency Commission meeting, sorry. Better. Yes, okay. Emergency Commission meeting, Monday, April 15th at 6:00 PM. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. They multiplied, huh? They multiplied.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like,
You have no idea what happens behind closed doors.
I know, I tell you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jacobs? Acting Clerk Commissioner Kasham?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins?
Here.
Vice Mayor Morset?
Here.
Mayor Mohammed?
Here.
We have quorum.
Okay. Are there, well, there shouldn't be any deletions or withdrawals to the agenda with one item. Are there any public comments related to the agenda items? Good and Wiffer? Nope. Okay, then we're going to go on to new business 6.1, Interim Chief of Police, Wendy Morse.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and City Attorney. There we go. Okay. I'm grateful that I was available to step in when you had no one to hold the Pembroke Park Police Department during this transition. As I previously mentioned, I have been a reserve with the department since April of 2022. That placed me in a unique position to have some historical context when looking at the overall agency. In February of 2024, I was asked to assist the former chief with investigating several internal and external complaints. The fact that I was part of the agency but not part of the day-to-day supervision made me uniquely qualified to handle these investigations. I began to question the processes that seemed to be non-existent within the agency, especially as it related to officer discipline and corrective action. Processes that I believed were in place in May of 2023. When you appointed me as interim chief 10 days ago, I began to do a cursory supervisory inquiry, not a complete and thorough investigation of the current condition of the agency. From that, I learned that the agency has at least 9 programs it uses for various record maintenance, plus several social media accounts. I haven't, at this point, with full disclosure, been able to get access to all of those yet. But what I can tell you is that the agency is not listed in the FDLE system as being even in existence. While that may not be an issue, what it does point out is that it makes you wonder what else is missing. What other things haven't we been able to fully bake? There may or may not be proper record-keeping systems in place to adhere to all Florida state statutes, public records laws, and internal affairs protocols, and the department's policies and procedures. There are multiple missing files to include hiring files, training files, and officer discipline files. There's a keeper system that's supposed to keep the keys of the city safe, and it's not functioning properly, which allows keys to be taken without proper authorization, jeopardizing the security of all of those systems. There are approximately 1,013 total crime reports for the 2 years since the department opened. 873 of them are currently remaining open, and only 140 have been cleared. While this is not a comprehensive list, I believe there are at least 6 months worth of hard work with a full-time staff to get all these systems back in place and functioning as they should function. This is a very specialized task to place on an interim chief. As requested by the city manager, I did a search for the perfect person to come in and take on this challenge. Someone who would be willing to right the ship. I have 2 people who reached out to me in particular who were willing to and able to take on the challenge. But in fairness to the previous candidates, interim manager, city manager Ghani had their resumes forwarded to me as well for my review. Please keep in mind when those folks applied, the town of Pembroke Park Police Department was a completely different state of operation. They were a functioning department within a few months of being completely staffed. At this point, many of the systems are going to need to be rebuilt or reinstated. Of those 15 candidates, I believe 12 were qualified to be police chief. But knowing what I know, after only a week, about the specific needs of the agency at this time, there was one resume that stood out to me. Interim City Manager Ghani asked me to come tonight prepared to make a recommendation to you for my replacement. And my recommendation to you, based on what I know, is Dan DeCourcy. Do you have any questions for me?
Does anyone have any questions?
No.
Thank you. And I want to just state for the record that I'll be available to you. I plan on going back into my reserve status so that I can continue to help you right the ship and get this agency back on track the way it needs to.
Are you going to be continuing working on the IAs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's my goal to have as many of them complete as I can for that next meeting with you all.
Okay. Okay.
Daniel is
Yes.
here.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. I want to pronounce his name right here. Hold on
A
second.
motion to what?
I'll make a motion to replace the police chief with a recommendation of Mr. Dan DeCourcy. DeCoursley? DeCourcy.
Before we vote on that,
Yeah.
can I bring up something?
Yes.
Yes.
I was looking in our employee handbooks and things like that that the town has, and I mean, we have all these rules and things out there that are supposed to be guiding us to do the right things the right way and everything. And I saw on there that when you have a new employee who is taking over a leadership role in the town, that they're supposed to have like a year to try to get their feet in the ground and get the thing working and to adjust to all the changes that they might need to make. And to see the Chief Dabney just put out after only 6 months on the job, I thought was kind of a little extreme when we should have given her the full year.
I'd like to respond to that and say that actually she was here prior to the construction launch of the police department.
She wasn't a chief.
No, she wasn't, but she was a major put in place 3 months, at least 3 or 4 months prior to the launch of the police department. So she's been here the entire time since prior to October 1st, 2022. She was also made the interim police chief or co-chief for in May 10th of 2023, which is 11 months. This 6-month thing is not correct.
Well, I still believe that it's
Are those policies?
way it's written.
Are those policies in the employee handbooks or in the police department handbooks?
You're saying they're different?
I'm asking.
I'm sorry?
The policies in the police department are different from the policies with employees in the town. So which handbook did those come out of?
The town's handbook for employees.
Okay, the police department has their SOPs that they follow.
Well, if we're not aware of those SOPs, and we're not privy to them, how could we make a decision on it?
Public record, you can always request them.
Well, that's backwards.
Vice Mayor.
Yes, I have seen Daniel DeCourcy. His resume is very impressive. On behalf of the town, I would like to have seen some more choice. Well, we are not in a position right now to toot our own horn here because we're in a bad situation because of all this the last couple of weeks. I put a resume of Dwayne Kaysen here, not because I think he has any experience as a chief, but he has a lot of very interesting education, and I always think that we should look in our own department to see if there is qualifications in our own department because we might have a hidden gem in there. In this situation here, I think because it's an interim position, that Daniel DeCourcy could be a good candidate. Again, I want to save this police department from what's going on up here.
promoting from within is what led us to this. We built the department from the scratch, and you guys terminated the police chief before the process was even complete. You let him go for no reason. We were still in the process of building the department when you did that. That led us to the situation that we're currently in. Putting someone else in that's not qualified for the police chief position is a really bad idea. We have someone here who has built a police department, I believe, with the State Gaming Commission. He was putting the State Gaming Commission together from what I read. And I think he's the perfect candidate we could have for the town of Pembroke Park right now. So I still have a motion on the floor.
I do not disagree, but I think that we should never have been brought in a situation where we don't have a handful of candidates we could choose from. I just want to serve as a warning for the commission to give at least this gentleman a year to prove himself.
I
So-
second it.
In that motion, can we make a year interim chief position?
If that is the intention of the commission, if the intention is to go out and look for a full-time replacement, again, it's entirely up to the five of you as to how you want to proceed with this process.
Well, right now we need to stabilize the police department, and these last 2 weeks of chaos is not acceptable because that would lead to the closure of the police department. Not because of the police department, they're doing their job, but because of the chaos up here on the dais.
So that means we're going to go back and use the rule that's actually in the book this time?
Or we can do something to where at 6 months we can do have an evaluation or have him come forward to give us a presentation, a status update. We do a public meeting just for the police department, just like we've been doing with the infrastructure meetings and all these others. So at 6 months, we can get an update on where we stand with the police department. And then after, I guess a year, do a review.
Well, 6 months from now, it should be like a shadow meeting, because if it's policing, it's not.
I believe Miss Roshana Davley, did she offer to come back and just to help us out until we
I
found somebody?
asked if we had no alternative, if she would do it until her what you call that, our hearing, and she said yes. In case we couldn't find anybody, she would come back and do her job. I don't think there would be any appetite for that here on the dais, but she was gracefully not enough to offer that. But I asked her if she wanted to.
So your motion is to hire Daniel DeCourcy with a 6-month evaluation?
We could do that, or
What-
a 6-month evaluation on a 1-year interim.
That's fine.
Yeah, 6 months is fine, I guess.
See where we're at in 6 months.
And then we'll decide it.
Okay.
So we're changing the employee handbook, is that what we're doing?
Employee handbook is for employees.
If I may, just one comment, Commissioner, just want to make sure that I'm understanding. When you reference the employee handbook, there's a provision in the handbook that says any town employee that reports directly to the commission, any individual that is hired or subject to the commission's approval, does not have a probationary period. In other words, the handbook requires an evaluation every 6 months of all of the commission's direct reports, but there's no probationary period for any employee that is a direct report to the commission. All of those employees are considered employees at will, can be terminated for any reason or no reason at all. But when it comes to probation, that does not apply to those particular individuals.
So then we would be making him the police chief.
Well, you can make him an interim police chief with a 6-month window if the intent is to go out and search for a replacement or provide a evaluation after 6 months. I mean, if the intent is not to go right out and search for a replacement, then he would essentially be your police chief. Again,
That's where I'm standing, is after 6 months, see where the police department's at, what his recommendation is. And if we need to go out for a police chief at that point, understand it's a 6-month process. I mean, we've been looking for a town manager for
Almost August.
almost a year now.
What-
Since I've been here for 5 years, we have yet to have a finance director that meets the minimum qualifications. So
What I might recommend, if it's the intent to engage somebody for a 6-month period, is to allow us to bring back a short-term employment agreement with this particular individual that provides for a term of 6 months.
6 months renewable.
Subject to a renewal, again, by mutual agreement of the parties. There would be a
Okay.
future amendment to that agreement to the extent that after 6 months, you wanted to extend that relationship for a period longer.
Agree.
It sounds good.
Would that be acceptable to Dan DeCourcy? 6 months?
Town attorney, do we need to wait until the hearing with Roshana Dabney is concerned
for
before we do this?
To be clear, whoever you are hiring this evening would be an interim or an acting police chief at least until May 8th. You have a police chief currently who is on paid administrative leave. So you'd be engaging somebody this evening to serve in an acting capacity through May 8th. Come May 9th, again, I don't know what's going to happen at the hearing on May 8th. Depending on what happens at that particular hearing, come May 9th, we could reevaluate the situation, and to the extent that Mr. DeCourcy was willing and able, and the commission wanted him to continue to serve in that position for a 6-month period, or at that point, maybe a 5-month period, we can memorialize those terms in the form of a written agreement.
That just sounds fine to me.
That's fine. Is that
Wendy
agreeable
is
to you,
okay with
Mr.
that?
DeCourcy?
That 2 weeks you will cover?
Is that agreeable to you? Okay, perfect. Okay.
Did you want to come up and speak for a minute? Not trying to put you on the spot, but we're all there right now.
First of all, thank you, Madam Mayor and Commissioners, for allowing me to speak today.
I don't know.
Move the microphone up a little
Okay.
bit. Thank you.
Hear me now?
Yep.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I know this is going to be a huge task, and I've made myself available to keep the agency going and making it better and a place where people want to come to. That's always been my goal in any law enforcement agency, is training the future leaders of the organization from until I do a comprehensive review and determine people's training and skill levels and so on. I have to make a determination from that point who I can develop to move up through the organization. That being said, I'll be busy doing a lot of things here, trying to get some things done. I want to meet with each one of you one-on-one and present you with my 30, 60, and 90-day plan that I have for the agency and give you somewhat of a roadmap of where we're going to go and what we're going to be doing. I'll always be open. My phone will always be on. If you have a question, any commissioner in here, the town manager or the attorney, anybody can call me anytime. I'm always available, and that includes any employees that I would have. So with that said, I look forward to the opportunity, and if you have any other questions of me.
Does anyone have any questions?
No, I hope 6 months is enough for you because
And that being said,
it's a tough race.
Yeah, and that being said, you all will get 30-day updates on what we've done. So you'll have an opportunity to see the progress that we made as the organization. And obviously, we have some issues that we have to work through, but we're going to try and close those things out as soon as possible.
Do you have any commitments or prior commitments that will not allow you to commit for this 6-month period?
No, I don't. I mean, I have a small trip that actually my wife's birthday, so I have to take her out of town next.
Family first.
So
Family
I got to
first.
make her happy.
All right.
All right. So there is a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not,
Was there
we
a
can call
second?
roll.
I need.
Yeah, she
Okay.
second. Yeah. Roll call.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Acting Clerk Commissioner Krishem. Acting Clerk Commissioner Krishem,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Morset,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome, sir.
Wait, stay up there. That way she can swear you in one time. Sorry, what? He has to be
Just
sworn
got to
in.
put it together.
You didn't put it together?
Unprepared.
I didn't know.
Yeah, this comes from Miss.
Didn't know what the process was going to be tonight.
Can we do this at the
Irregular? All right.
no, the next meeting
I
here?
can go upstairs.
Oh, no, you have to swear him in
I
today.
can go swear
Yeah, I
you in
realize,
in
but we have
second.
another meeting in 30 minutes.
I can wait.
I can swear him in. I just have to get the document upstairs.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
a big
We
deal.
can wait for,
Hey, we
Okay.
have half an hour.
Well, in that way, we get him all taken care of tonight
Yeah.
because he has to be sworn in order to be chief.
Right.
So just give me a second and
We are waiting for you.
Yeah. And some strong coffee too, please.
Okay, so we'll take a recess.
next.
She's
Marlon, we're going to take a recess.
taking
Go ahead. Are you ready? Okay.
Got the cameras on?
I do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States of America and of the state of Florida, and that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of the town of Pembroke Park Police Chief, on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And with that, are there any comments? If not, I'd like to adjourn. Yes, no?
Just the contract, just prepare the contract and bring it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a copy for yourself.
Any other comment? Is there any comments?
Just make sure it's prepared by May 8th. May we have it ready?
May 9th.
Or May 8th.
Yeah, that's the meeting date.
Yep.
Okay. We're good? Then if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Give me a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:44.